what was your favorite part about working on cruise ships?
There's so much to working on cruise ships that is so much fun. I could say many things. I could actually say being on the ship itself, because it's like a playground for adults.
Yeah.
I could say it's the traveling part from country to country. You never hit the same, see the same things twice. All the foods, the exotic foods that you get to try, all the people that you meet. It's incredible. Incredible journey is what it is. And I did it for 10 years, and it's something that I wouldn't trade for $1 million.
Right. I wouldn't either. I would do it again in an instant. I think it defined who I am, who
Absolutely.
Joel is. It created who I am.
Absolutely. And I think Lisa and I talked about this a while ago, but to this day, I still have dreams that I'm on ships.
Yeah, that's what Kimberly was saying. She was saying she still has dreams. Yeah. Lisa, tell me about what was your favorite part about ship life?
I've been thinking about this question all weekend, and I couldn't come up with something because I just loved everything, to be honest with you. I loved what I did. I loved the people that I worked with. I loved the passengers. I got along with them really well. It was hard for me to pick just one thing. It's hard. I mean, the travel was honestly the bonus of it. I always dreamed of working on a cruise ship, so I was able to accomplish that, and I loved that. But I mean, the travel, like I said, was the bonus on top, but I can't express how amazing it was to meet lifelong friends that I consider family. So I think maybe that's one of my favorites. I don't know, but I had a great time.
And Mario, what was your favorite thing?
It's just such an adventure,
Adventure, yeah.
That's I think it's the best thing is actually the enrichment that gives you the experience of it all.
And you did 10 years, right? You did 10 years, Mario?
Almost 9 years. Yeah. Like being able to think of a place, just point at the world map and say, "Oh, okay, I've been there. I know I have friends there." The freedom of being able to think, "Oh, look, let's go there. I know this place."
Part, I don't know, I liked a lot of it. I still have dreams that I'm leaving work here. I live in Vancouver, BC. And so I always have dreams. I'm leaving to go on the ship for like 4 weeks or 6 months. I always have like ship land dreams. I quite liked it.
Kimberly, how many years did you do on ships? It was a while, right? It was quite a long time.
It was 9. Yeah. I was on board I started 2004 on the Regal, and I went to 2012. And so I met Shelby on the Diamond Princess, so cruise staff as well.
Amazing how quick it flies. So I was a butler on Princess Cruises. I started as a cocktail waiter on Carnival Cruise in '96, and then in '98 I was the butler. And I miss those days. I feel like yesterday, but.
So I worked in the crew staff department with Princess, of course, and I just started shortly after 9/11, and I had my last contract in 2004, and I had a great time. I loved it.
Butler, I was a crew member, and as a junior waiter, Mario, you were a crew member as well, right? But Lisa, you were a staff, or you were an officer status?
We had officer status, so I think we had officers. We got to eat in the officers' mess. Yes.
I guess one of the questions we had was like, what tips would you give anyone wanting to work on board? If you always hear people go, "I was going to do that. I was going to do that." Like, Kimberly, what would be your tip to give someone if they wanted to work on board?
Just one tip. It would probably be, I don't know, you're going to work really hard.
Yeah.
So you just have to enjoy working hard.
Right? So what tip, Lisa, you had a time to think about it, or maybe Mario, what tip would you give someone if they say, "I want to work on a cruise ship"? Kimberly said, "You're going to work hard, so know that."
Definitely the working hard, but I think, and especially now that we're going through this pandemic, I think this is a really good example for people, is, are you really able to leave home? Because there are so many people that are homesick and they don't quite understand. I think they see the glitz of it, getting to travel and whatnot. And like Kimberly said, you're going to be working hard, but I think people need to understand that, hey, you're really working 7 days a week and you don't have that constant contact with family. I mean, technology has changed a lot in the last 15 years. So, now I really sound old hearing that, but it really has. Well, the internet's so much better now on board.
It is.
But
We didn't have
really,
internet
I mean,
back then.
it's just,
Oh,
Right,
well, we had it, but it was
We're
bad.
trying to figure out payphones in different countries.
Exactly. You had to stand in line behind 20 people.
we had calling cards. Remember
Yeah.
calling
Yeah.
cards?
I
In the
remember
calling
those.
stations?
Yes,
yeah.
yes. But I think it's I think people, you know, really
To get
understanding that,
line. Yeah.
like Kimberly said, it's a lot of hard work. And are you able to go months at a time without actually seeing your family? And it's interesting to see land people, and I still call them land people, how they're crying over not being able to go and and visit somebody down the street or, you know, a few miles away. And I'm just kind of like,
Try doing that for
Yeah.
6 to 8 months at a time.
Right.
we have FaceTime.
Yeah, I know. We used to go when Joel and I were on board, it was like 99 to like 2008 for me, and there was just no FaceTime, and like satellite calls were super expensive. You'd have to get off and stand in line at the calling station to phone friends and family, and I'm like, you know, do I really want to spend my time calling someone, or do I want to go out to the beach or hang out with the crew?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
You know, I have to tell you guys, when I was on my very first contract, San Juan was our home port, and nobody told me, but when I would call home once a week on that Saturday, I would walk in that, you know, that port where it's like not even in Old San Juan, it's like outside. I would walk to the closest McDonald's and use the phone there. And it was great because I thought, oh my God, nobody's ever on this phone and I can be on it for as long as I wanted. Not realizing that that was a prison that was right there.
Oh my.
That's a great story.
I didn't put two and two together with all the noise and the commotion that was going on. And I mean, you know, they were having a great time that there was a female there on the phone for a couple of hours.
Hilarious. That's a good one. So Mario, let me ask you something, and we'll kind of get Kimberly back on. I'll try to take myself off and put Kim on. What would you say to yourself on your first day? Like, what would be the thing that you said to yourself, like, okay, this would help me? What would be that first, or do you have something that you think it would have helped? You know,
Cool. I remember every time I joined a ship, every time I like on my way to the ship, like literally driving from my hotel to the ship to join, I would say, "Oh my God, what have I done?"
Yeah.
I did it again. What did I do?
No, it'd be the first night outdoors when you're greeting people to go to the show. That's when I would have my biggest regret. What was I thinking?
Yeah. What I would say to myself is just take it easy. This looks harder and scarier than it actually is, and you're going to be just fine. So I think that's what I would say to myself on my first day.
I think that was a really good point. Like, it was so overwhelming. I remember things like you didn't get a list, like a bullet point list of what to do. It was kind of like, get your crew staff outfit on, and here you go, girl. You need to be here, and you weren't really given a like a template. Like, whereas a regular job, usually they're like, here's your bullet list of things that you need to do for this job, and here's
your handbook
and a script for that. And on cruise ships, they'd be like, go get your uniform. Where? Like, where do I get my uniform? At the storage locker. Where the hell's the storage locker? You know,
way down on deck Z.
There's stores.
As
And I'm
Billy
like,
Vader would say.
stores, like the shops. Like, where do I go? Like, I don't even know where to go, and I don't want to say that I don't know where to go. But there was so much you had to figure out on the fly. So Mario, I think that was a perfect thing, because it's just like, take it easy. You'll figure it out. You know, does anyone else have something that you would want to say to yourself, like on that first day, just to sort of, you know, help if you could go back in time?
Me, I remember the first day I joined back in 1996 was the Crown Princess, and my roommate at the time, the guy who was my roommate, he and I were in the van headed toward the ship, and we were like, okay, well, where is this ship? Where is the ship? We saw a building and a building and a building, And the driver said, "That's your ship," and it was the biggest building, and we were shocked. We were like, "Are you kidding? That thing floats?" We didn't realize it was going to be that big. But if I had any advice for young Will back then, I would say get ready for adventure, because that's exactly what it was. 10 years of adventure, because
Awesome.
literally so many things happen.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of adventure. I think I tell myself to save some of the money. I just went through it all, and and now I look back and I think, wow, I could have really bought a house or something. Yeah, so I think I would Joel just Saltino sock some of that money away somewhere, and
Right.
be grand later. But yeah.
So I guess I just would love to know the thing that you miss the most about ships, like the thing that you wish could be a part of your life on land. Like for me, I miss the crew camaraderie, and just that camaraderie and that trust, and knowing that there were people like you on board, because the kind of person that can handle this kind of environment is to me is one of the strongest people in society. Someone that can put that face on, do their job, and still has a kind of like a moral code. Like everyone had like a moral code or an ethic. I just felt like I could very quickly connect with a lot of the crew members and feel like they understood the kind of person. We understood each other. There was like camaraderie and understanding that when you go into life and land, I feel like there's just so many different levels of people, and I'm not quite sure where everyone stands. Whereas when I was on crew, I really felt like I understood that there was a good code, moral code ethic, and we could figure it out. That was my thing that I missed.
Yeah, I'm going to actually agree. And I think I said this earlier. I still consider myself as a sea person versus land people. It's just that difference. But if there's anything that I really, really miss, is our dinners. I think yes, Will's laughing. Because I just felt like we really all, depending on the contract, but we really did make sure that we grabbed everybody, and we all, if we could, we made sure we could have dinner together, and sometimes lunches as well. And I miss those. I miss sitting at the officers' mess. I miss having those dinners and having everybody else wanting to join our table, because we were always the loudest and we were just having the most fun. And I miss that. I miss my ship family for sure.
Well, for me, what I can say about that is, I'm sure Mario, you can agree with the waiters and everything, but because Lisa and I were crew staff, that when you go from one contract to the next, you already know that you're joining a family, and it truly is. They become instant family, because you have to. There's no other choice but to become family. And like families, sometimes siblings will bicker and fight and whatnot, but that's what makes it fun, because at the end of the day, that you're still going to be there for that person. You're still going to be there for your fellow crew staff, or your fellow waiters, or your fellow, Steiners, or whatever department you're in. You are a family. That's how it is.
And I think, Will, one thing that I've said to a few people now working on land is I've always said everybody should work on a cruise ship, because people really need to learn, just because you don't get along with someone, it doesn't mean that you can't work with them. And that's one thing that as working on a cruise ship, you don't have a choice whether you like that person or not. And if you're roommates with that person, you have to suck it up and deal with it, because you're going to have to work with them, and you're going to have to make it seem like you guys are having a great time. What you do behind closed doors, that's up to you, but you have to be able to live with each other and work with each other. And we've been able to do that. And it's interesting how on land it's very dramatic.
Not the case. It's the intensity of it really is. One day, I feel that one day on board would be the equivalent of almost a week on land.
Agreed.
So the feeling that was so intense that relationships of one week old relationships would feel like it would be like a year, or it was like that level of that fast-paced intensity that would add to the exhaustion, but fun. So it's a mix of emotions, strong emotions. They go back home, and a week passes, 2 weeks pass, and you start getting bored, and it feels like, to me at least, it always felt like the world was revolving in slow motion. So that nothing ever changed back home. It was like
Nothing
I
ever
was finding
changed at home.
the
Yeah.
exact same faces. Yeah, exactly. So it'd be
And
like, time slow down, it's like that kind of feeling.
yes,
Yeah.
I do agree with that. And I'm going to bring you back on, Lisa, just to say goodbye at the end. But Kimberly, did you have anything that you thought of that, something that you kind of missed about ships that you wish was on land or anything like that?
There's a lot that I wish was on land that is on ships, but I just really enjoyed the chaos of everything.
The
I
chaos.
enjoyed the meeting people weekly.
Yeah.
Working with people from all across the world, which is amazing. It became normal to work with people from all across the world. And, there'd be like, you'd make comments like, oh, we've got like 40, like crew night, or what was it called? The crew talent show. So it was fun to be able to see like 45, 50 countries represented all on one little boat, although they're massive. And so I really miss that, that layer of just meeting people from around the world, getting to know people. It's something that I think everybody should do, go on ships or travel, and it's very educational, and putting yourself into other people's shoes is very powerful. And for about a year and a half, I felt it was really hard to come back to land. I still refer to it, like you, as land, and it's more foreign land. The water is where you can find your energy, your peace, your craziness. I just really also enjoyed giving people that experience on the ships to take away from their whatever is happening on land, whether it's work, family. There's a lot of shit that goes on this land. It's nice being out in that bubble, entertaining people, and just kind of distracting them for 6-7+ days, right? So there's a lot of things that I really miss about it, and there's a lot of things that I've been able to take from the ship and bring to the work that I do today. So it's nice to be able to kind of try to get a balance there.
It definitely added to our character. There's no doubt about that, right? I mean, all of us, our character is different because of the experience of working on board a ship and being able to handle that.
But just reminiscing with you guys just makes me miss it even more. I take my kids on a couple of cruises now, and I just feel like I'm at home. I can't explain that feeling. It's like the moment you see that ship, and my heart just feels like it's going to jump right out, and I'm excited to be home. It's I'll always consider sea to be on the water home. So
I love it. Well, I'm Shelby. You guys are all fabulous. I'll see you on Facebook. Thank you so much for being flexible, as all cruise ship people are. Bye, guys.
It's such an enriching experience that when we look at the grand scheme of things, it's just like, wow, where to begin.
And don't forget, I want to connect on social with you. Facebook, Shelby Frenette, ShelbyLive.com. And we have Instagram, Solo Travel Expert, and of course, Solo Travel TV YouTube, and LinkedIn, Shelby Frenette. I'm Shelby. You're fabulous. I'll see you on social.